Chris, how you doing, man? Testing.
Doing all right.
Talk to me. 1, 2, 3.
Testing.
So excited. I'm going to be doing an interview with my man, Chris. So stay tuned. We're going to sit down and have a coffee, and we're just going to see what his life has taught him with as far as challenges and failures. We've shared a lot of personal stuff together, so I know that his life has depth. I know he has something that we can all learn from, so stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. Right, man. How you doing?
Good.
Guys, welcome to the Failed Podcast. I hope today's episode is enjoyable. We're trying something a little bit different. I had got like a new microphone set up right here. Bam, he's mic'd up right there. So we're going to kind of do, moving podcasts. We're going to be able to do them wherever the time calls for it, man. No matter if someone's driving or we're just having a cup of coffee, we're just going to make it happen. And Today I'm sitting with my friend Chris.
What up?
Chris, how you doing, man?
Doing good.
Thank you for joining us today on the Failed Podcast.
No problem.
Introduce yourself, like kind of give us your name, where you grew up, a little bit about your family, and then we'll jump into some things that me and you have talked about that I feel that I can just dig a little deeper and we can get some substance that can really help some people understand and deal with like failures and challenges in life.
Okay.
So go ahead. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, full name. I don't know if you want government name.
No government, whatever, man.
Well, no, Chris Bowman. That's what I usually go by. Grew up mostly in East Texas, Athens, and moved to Dallas back in the '80s. And had some challenges growing up. I think everybody has.
For sure, man. So, like growing up in Athens and coming here, were you young when you came here?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I can't really remember. I'll say what age I actually was.
Yeah.
But I know I was 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there. I remember we moved to Dallas and had a 1-bedroom apartment. With my family. And
how many are in your family?
My dad was kind of in and out.
Yeah.
Mostly out, but it was my 4 sisters and I, and then my grandmother and my mother.
In a 1-bedroom.
Yeah.
And you remember that?
Yeah.
Now, that's interesting. We're gonna jump into some other things, but so many people, when they share their stories, and I'm talking about like people who are making billions and they're all successful, they always mention, oh, we were in a 1-bedroom and this and that, but they don't never go deep in that. But you kind of can recall it, right? Looking back, what did it do to you? Like, what were you, if you can recall, what were you thinking back then? But even today, looking back, how do you analyze that situation for you or for people that are in it right now? Because people don't realize that says a lot about where your mom was, how y'all were living, and that just like 1-bedroom apartment with that many people, there's a lot of challenges, man.
Well, yes, there was a lot of challenges. I'm not gonna lie, my mother did a fantastic job with all of us.
Yeah, no hate.
Yeah.
On Chris's mom. We're just digging in, man. Nothing but love. For real. Nothing but love.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, there's people that walk around with shame.
Oh, yeah.
When that's in their past.
Yeah.
But the Chris that I know, dude, you're solid. Like, I love your character. You've been a great friend.
I appreciate it.
And I know, and to think that's where you came from, a lot of people are angry. You know what I mean? Because they're like, man, the world has, blah, blah, blah. But I don't get that from you. So what was it like? And then take me out of that to where as you were growing up.
Well, like I said, when we first moved up here from East Texas, my family really didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
We didn't really come from a lot, but we made do. A lot of people in East Texas, they always, have the woe is me attitude. And I thank God, like I said, for my mom, She didn't take a back seat and say like, this is what I'm going to accept. She
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna fight for my kids. She fought for, she fought for my dad, and it was some stories that shouldn't be told, but
Mm-hmm,
we might get into them, might
mm-hmm.
not. But she did a fantastic job with us and took us away from, my grandmother's house in East Texas
Yeah.
to, starting her own life with her own family and stuff like that. And then, you know, my dad, he used to play for the Browns or the practice squad, not actually play for him, but he was on
Yeah,
the
yeah, that's
practice
still
squad.
pretty cool.
Yeah, but like I said, he being him who he is, he pretty much was like, I could do better than this, and he kind of
Mm.
just kind of like, left, and
Yeah.
that was it. And next time I heard from him, he was like driving trucks. I guess he didn't make it, but it is what it is.
Now, what are some of the characteristics that you remember from your mom back
Uh,
then, as far as how she would be after a long day and how she would handle all of y'all in the middle of her stress? What was the mom that you got to know?
the mom that I got to know was a loving, caring, very motivated, very hardworking. Um, I mean, honestly, she's like Mother Teresa,
Hmm.
and I know a lot of people may say that about their mother, but
I say
I,
that about my husband.
but
I
like,
mean, that's
yeah,
a huge compliment.
yeah,
If you look at Mother Teresa, people are gonna look at it and be like, "Come on, Chris, you're exaggerating."
no, no,
But let me
no,
let me let me simplify it for the audience.
yeah,
Mother Teresa was selfless.
yeah,
Everything else that you read about, it's all great, but she was at the core of who she was. She was selfless.
yeah.
Is that how you saw your mom? And what were some other favorite qualities that your mom had?
Uh, yes, I definitely saw my mom like that. It's three things that she instilled in me and my four sisters. She would always tell us to put God first,
Hmm.
others second, and you last. And I live my life by that. I always had like a fixation about the number three. I know everybody else was like, oh, that's a basketball number or whatever. And it's like,
Yeah.
nah, it was different for me because number three was reminding me of what my mom taught me.
And you knew you were third.
And yeah, I'm always third.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, I know everybody who makes it or whatever, they go, oh, you got to be selfish. You got to do this.
Mm.
Step on a few people. You got to have stairs to get higher in life. And it's like, not really. What about flying? You just gotta build. You gotta grow your own wings to fly.
So you're okay with putting yourself last,
Yeah, yeah.
even though the world is, like you said, totally against that, man. Selfishness gets to the front of the line. You want like major success, you got to be first. You got to be selfish,
Well,
right? Even as true as that is, I know that you have so many good qualities with your work ethic, with your side hustles, that your path is leading to success. And yet, I've never seen a selfish Chris. Even whenever I'm like stressed and I'm like, oh my God, you hang in there and like, and your positivity and your good attitude kind of helps me, man. You know what I mean? Like even handle tough situations. So being third, putting yourself last, your mom instilled that in you.
yes.
How does it show up in your life as you're like going to middle school and high school? And then we'll get to closer to today later. But as you're growing up, how would that show up?
Well, in elementary, I do have like a few friends that I met in elementary and that I do remember to this day. I can't remember all my teachers because it was elementary. It's a
Yeah, a
long
long
time
time ago.
ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah. But honestly, Miss Chambers, she was like my homeroom teacher,
Yeah.
I believe. And then it was one other teacher. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name.
That's okay. It's okay.
But they would always pick me to do like help out with the class. They would always, choose me,
Yeah.
out of, there's 20 people in this class. Why would you? I thought it was picking on me, but they would be
Yeah.
like, no, you're
It's how
like the
your
class helper.
willingness.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they seen like, how I would help people on like tests and stuff like that. And they would always be like, oh, no, you're cheating. And it was like, well, I didn't know I was cheating, but I was helping someone, like they were stuck. And,
Oh.
the girl
God,
next to me, she would be crying because she's not getting what on the paper. She's not
yeah.
understanding it, and I'll lean over and be like, "It's
So in essence, you were helping her cheat, but you were doing it from a good place because
yeah,
you
yeah,
weren't like, let's cheat. You're like,
yeah,
and she's crying,
yeah,
and so I can help her. I know the answer. I know the
yeah,
strategy.
yeah,
Let me help her. That's it. I
and
love that.
and I was
That does
never.
show that I am third.
Yeah, I was never telling them like the actual answer. I was actually telling them how to do the problem.
Yeah.
And once my teacher, Miss Chambers, actually seen what I was doing, and she seen me helping other students in the class. We had one dude in the class that I, I don't judge anybody's past, but there's always like that one. Everybody goes, oh, that's that one. Oh my God, here he comes. That person. And I never seen anybody like that. I never looked at anybody like, oh my God, here he comes. It
Like he
was
was a
all,
knucklehead.
yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah, you know what I'm
okay.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like whenever he was in class, there was a few times where he was like asked to go to the restroom, and Miss Chambers knew that he was like messing around in the hallway,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever. But she wouldn't let him go. Like sometimes, and he would like go pee on the plant in the classroom.
Oh my.
Yeah, and I was like, I'd be friends with the dude, and I'm like, dude, like, why would you act like that, or why would you, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
and trying to get to the basis of it, just being a friend. And then he took me like to his house, and I understood, like everybody doesn't have the same upbringing. Everybody doesn't have the same opportunities.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't get, the silver spoon.
So he had a tough
He had
home life.
a tough home life.
And this is a side point from what we're doing, but we all need a friend.
Yeah.
Like, and I know if you're watching, if you're young, you probably see the dude that's maybe his clothes is a little bit dirty, maybe his language is a little bit rough, and you're like, heck no, I don't want to be his friend. But sometimes that one friend is really what can help you from one day to the next. And I imagine this kid, boy, nobody wanted to be his friend because they want to get tied up in any of his mess.
I mean, he had like a few friends, but
Yeah.
it was like the trouble clique.
Yeah. Got it.
And I mean, I'm not gonna say like I'm some savior or whatever, but like I said, by me putting myself last and actually befriending him and helping him out, I would give him like some of my like lunch, whatever, when he didn't have anything.
Yeah.
Or it's like I said, everybody has their story, and this is mine. I just, to me, I feel like I've been ridiculed a lot of times because of the way that I was brought up. Um, I was always that person that was like I know how to make it. I know how to make money. I know how to get something. Like if I had shoes on my feet, I know how to get another pair of shoes.
Yeah.
This person probably doesn't. Here's
Got
my
it.
shoes. Here, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I don't care. My shirt off my back. Here, I can go get another shirt.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's easy to make money. But I like personally, I mean, I'm going back to what my mom taught me.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't see what other people are going through, it's pretty much like you turning a blind eye to what God has put out there for you.
Yeah.
Everybody has to go through trials and tribulations, because
Yeah.
if you don't go through those trials and tribulations, how do you know what good looks like?
Yeah.
Today I don't know what bad.
Today I heard I was talking to you about Shia LaBeouf's interview, and he said pain draws the picture.
Yeah.
And in essence, like the stuff that hurts us, that challenges us, that's what's used to mold us to who we are.
Exactly.
And so you have this friend, you start seeing the benefits of just being a good guy, right?
Yeah.
Like being third.
Yeah.
But here we go. Here's the kicker. There's also a negative, there's a challenge to that, to being second, not being selfish, not being driven like the way society's being driven. Jump ahead to high school and tell me maybe was there challenges behind that mentality?
Yeah. In high school, I wasn't like the popular kid. My sister, when I first got to high school, my sister was a senior, and she would look out for me a lot. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't trying to be the popular kid. If you talk to anybody that knows me back in high school, they'll be like, he was always to himself. If anybody would like come and talk to me, yeah, I'll talk to them. I'm a very sociable person.
Yeah.
But I think my character is very introvert. I find solace in being by myself.
Yeah.
Like I like to recharge by myself.
Yeah.
Going through life, and if you're always like I said, I'm putting myself last. If I'm always helping someone else and never getting help from anybody else, how do I
That,
recharge? You
yeah,
know
that can be draining.
exactly.
Like I would have got tired of it, dude. But
Yeah,
you're still saying it today.
yeah.
So there's something that's benefited you from that characteristic. Tell me some of the challenges and failures that you went through as you're coming out of high school and you're becoming a young adult
Uh,
that kind of helped mold you to who you are today.
well, I'll say challenging thing was I was a very like I was an honor roll student, but I did have my downfalls. I didn't really like to be alone,
Yeah.
uh, and that had a very negative impact on me a lot. Um, but
Alone in what sense?
alone in the sense that like I could make friends, but like you know how you get in your head sometimes, like man, are they really my friends, or like are
Got it.
they are they just using my energy, or just using me for what they want? And since my mom was like always working, she did tell me, a lot of things and teach me a lot of things, but a lot of things came from like, you know, experience.
You got to figure it
So
out.
I had to figure it out. I had to like, I put myself in situations where, I got in trouble. I didn't know. I thought these were, good dudes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then, after that, it was like, they wasn't. But I had to learn that. My mom didn't be like, hey, this, she didn't say, hey, look at him.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. Look at her. She's a good person. Well, I had to learn that on my own, and since I had to learn it on my own, I got caught up, and I went to jail a few times, but I don't really dwell on that. It was a learning
Did you learn
experience.
from it?
Oh yes,
All right.
oh yeah,
Okay. So tell me what your mentality was. You said a few times. What was your mentality going in? Right? Because I think of the movies,
yeah,
and then the movies, they're like, man, whatever, man, I'm the man.
yeah.
But it takes a toll on you.
It does.
And so when you come out,
Anybody
some
that
some
say
guys are worse, or some guys come out better.
anybody that says that it doesn't take a toll on them is lying.
Yeah,
They're they're
boy.
they're they're putting up a shield,
Got it. Got
pretty
it.
much. Um,
So
I,
tell me how you went in
well,
and how and I'm not trying to like glorify it, but some of the things you learned from it
yeah,
as well, because that's a challenge that's supposed to, for a lot of people, it sets them back.
yeah,
And then they never recover. And it's a lifelong of in and out of jail, making bad decisions because of the circles they hang out with. But again, I mentioned it earlier, man, like you're a good dude. Like you're my man. You know what I mean? Chris is
yeah.
my man. And so you didn't get stuck there.
No,
And so I want to know that so that if someone's listening, they don't feel like they don't have another avenue.
oh no, you always have another avenue. Um, like I said, I went in because I was hanging around the wrong people.
Yeah, yeah.
For if you learn anything from this, is to like judge people by their character, not by the way they look, by their character. See, put them in situations to see what they do. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
if say you go to the store and you see the person that you with, put some chips or like a drink or something in his bag,
Yeah.
right there should tell you like if nobody's watching.
But what if he says like, but it's for us, bro?
Nah,
It
man,
still don't count. That don't count. No sharing. No sharing. I'm joking.
And that's pretty much how you go to jail.
Yeah.
It's like guilty by association.
Yeah.
And it's that's the thing. If they don't have your best interests at heart, then they don't care about you when you go in.
No.
Those people who got you in trouble, they're not going to be there whenever you go into jail
Yeah.
and see, Big Tom, 250 pounds, ready to whoop anybody because his life's been hard all his life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not going to be there. And even so, it's to me, I learned the lesson because I was like, well, I'm hungry in jail. I'm depending on my family to put money on my books and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And where the homeboys that said they got me, whenever we were out there, it's like
Like it makes you say like, who's around at your worst,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
And unless you've been there, you'll learn it's very few people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So tell me some of the things that you feel that you lost because of those times that you were in and out of jail, and
Well,
what you've done to kind of regain it, right? To have
yeah.
like confidence in yourself again.
Well,
Not
um,
now, but back in the
yeah.
day.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. And I have to give the credit to my aunt and my uncle. They were staples in my life as well.
Nice.
They instilled a lot of confidence in me. That's why I kind of stayed to myself, growing up. I did have friends, like I said, but I kind of lost them growing up because people don't learn. Some people don't learn. But I did learn. Uh, my setbacks were that I had, I want to say, 5 to 6 great job opportunities,
Yeah.
but me being,
Having a record.
having a record and me being who I am,
Yeah.
uh, kind of pushed me out of those
Mm.
positions, because it
That
was like,
challenge
yeah.
that messes with somebody. I mean,
I mean, it messes with a lot of people,
it makes you
people.
mad.
Yeah, it
It
does.
makes you mad at per
Because,
se at the man. It makes you
yeah,
mad at the man, but the man was you that
yeah,
made the bad
bad
decisions.
decision.
And
Yeah,
so
but
when did you say I'm going to take ownership over this? Because a lot of people don't. They just blame.
well, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like when I actually was going through my situation,
Mm-hmm.
and I went into court and stood before the judge and all that other stuff, I actually made the conscious effort, and I'm like, look, man, like, I'm only 18, 19. I'll be 19, next year,
Wow.
and,
Wow.
I'm still young. Everybody makes bad decisions. They
Yeah.
learn from, some people have a dad in the home to teach them, like, hey, that's not who you want to hang around. That's, this is what you want to do.
Oh
Or
man.
I didn't have that. Um, I had examples every now and again of that, but it's like having a father in the house is
Yeah, like having a constant
a
is different
constant. Yeah,
than every now lessons every
yeah,
now and then. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So, and like I said, man, I had a lot of opportunities that I don't regret, but if I could have actually followed through with those,
Yeah.
man, like, I would have been so
Been on
so
gravy
much better
train.
off. Yeah, yeah, like,
Yeah.
and I feel like my life would have been a whole lot different. I don't blame anybody. Like I said, it was my decisions. Um, but if I could do some things differently, I probably would have never went to jail.
Yeah.
I would have never got that on my record. I would have never, I would have treated all police with utmost respect,
Yeah.
whatever. But even with me treating police with respect, because my mom taught me that too. Police are people too, and sometimes they have bad days, and if you catch a cop on a bad day, look out.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but
I've had a bad day when we've worked together and you didn't slap me, bro. And you could have. I just get frustrated.
yeah,
So that's a good lesson for people, man. Like as you're living and doing life in society, man, people have bad days. Don't let that turn into your worst
yeah,
day, man. You
exactly,
know what I mean? And so,
exactly.
okay, so that's happening. You're young. How much time do you lose, if you don't mind me asking? 5, 6, 7 years,
10,
10 years.
10
That's a
years.
lot of years, man. Tell me some of the most valuable lessons that you learned, and then let's jump ahead to some of the challenges. And I use the word failure not to demean anyone.
Yeah,
It's just so that people understand that we all have challenges and failures in life, and those that learn grow and keep
yeah.
going. And I know that you have grown and kept going. So when people watch this, I don't want them to think like, man, Sam's so mean to Chris. He keeps calling him a failure. I'm not, bro. Like, so
Nah,
I'm rooting. So tell me a little bit after those 10 years, your whole life idea of being last and God first, how does all of that start clicking in when you come out? Because now it's a different man that's coming out.
yeah. So fast forward, 10 years after all of that, because they told me, like, it takes a short amount of time for you to get in trouble, but it takes a lifetime to get out of trouble. And it sucks because it's true.
Yeah.
Um, and with me coming out of, like, not being able to get work where I want, not being able to, like, make friends with who I want to make friends with,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, you know, basically people kind of shunning me, and then you know, I basically was like, you know, I leaned on what my mom said, you know, put God first, other seconds, and me last, and me praying every day for, you know, I mean, my family's always been in the church,
Yeah.
but like, I guess whenever I was going through my little spat of like disobedience, that's what I call it, disobedience, failure, whatever, you know, I had to understand that God was letting me make mistakes
Mm.
to show me that He had a different plan for me.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna be this super religious person because I'm not
Oh,
gonna,
but I thought I was
you
about to.
know,
I thought you were about to pick up offering.
but you know,
But I feel you.
you know, whenever God has something for you, He'll put you through the worst.
Mm.
He'll put you through the worst,
Yeah.
and then show you, like, okay, now look, you know, this is what you should appreciate,
Yeah.
you know. And now that I got, you know, I bought a house, you know, I got 3 kids, I got a loving wife, you know, I was able to go on plenty of vacations. I'm a contractor now, and you know, I go into like all these prestigious homes,
Mm-hmm.
millionaires, billionaires. I talk to plenty of like,
By the way, like you jumped ahead of me,
I'm sorry,
but it's this crazy thing, and hopefully it launches and it becomes this amazing thing that everyone will know about. But it's like what's that show, Antique Roadshow,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the other show where they drive in that van, they look for stuff. What's that one
I
called? With
can't
those two
remember.
guys?
I know you're
Yeah, I
talking
know
about.
what I'm
Yeah,
talking about. Well, they find stuff and then they're like, I paid 50 cents and I sold it for $5,000.
it's real.
That's what
It's
he
real.
does, man. And so keep an eye out on my social because as soon as he brings some cool stories, I want to put him out there. But he's found stuff
Oh yeah.
like for $5 and sold it for $6,000. Like that's kind of like his hidden thing. Like he has his job, he does his thing, but that's the cool part. So I love that about you, man. And hopefully, I'm gonna encourage you to continue
Oh
doing that
yeah.
because I think that people will find that very
Oh
interesting.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so 10 years, you come out, dude. How does here's the challenge of life is whenever society pushes you out and you don't feel like you're welcome in a
Anywhere,
store, in a place, in a job.
anywhere.
And that's hard, bro.
It's hard.
Okay. So those people, I grew up in the hood and I understand what those people look like, how they behave. They stay in their circle. They don't go out. Their friends stay the same. They don't explore. They don't go to museums and whatever.
Don't
Okay.
leave the country.
Don't
Don't
leave the
do,
country.
everything.
How did you handle that challenge? Because right now I see a Chris, you're well spoken. We share a lot of friends. Our clients, they're very professional clients. They respect us the same because they like both of us. So how did you overcome that, dude? That would have made me bitter, bro. Like,
Uh,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I mean, because I would have been mad. I would have been like, nah,
Well,
these kind of individuals suck, and so do they, because they look at me, and you can live like that, but that don't
yeah.
get you nowhere.
It
And I
doesn't.
and I see you, and you're to me, you're open.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
did you get there from people putting that on you?
Well, and like you said, man, whenever everybody kind of like forces you out and you're kind of outside the circle, it's hard. And
Oh yeah.
full disclosure, men cry.
Huh? What? I didn't hear that. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, men cry. I'm not gonna lie. I cried a few times. It's like, man, like, I had a chance to have a 6-figure job, man. It's like
Yeah.
everybody's like goal. Everybody's like, man, I need a 6-figure job. I want to make a lot of money. I want to do this, and it's like, money doesn't really bring happiness.
It should bring more bills.
It brings more bills. But being outside of society like that for so many years and going in and out of court trying to like clean my record up and talk to the judges, and they all look at you like, you're just another number, and
Do you remember your number?
no.
Good.
But like I said, man, I didn't let it hinder me.
Yeah.
I met some amazing people throughout my journey that kept me in the right mind frame. And sometimes it takes others that go like, "Hey, man, it's gonna be okay,"
Yeah.
And just having like I said, you, Toby, Greg, my wife, my mother, everybody just telling me, "Hey, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a hard road. Nobody has it easy. Some people, but we're not gonna bring those people up. But
It's probably you
you,
who they're talking about. So just, whatever, man. If it hits, it hits. It's meant to teach you something, man.
yeah,
It
it
ain't all
is.
fun, but
Life
it's,
life is actually supposed to teach you something. It ain't supposed to be all roses
yeah,
and
man.
the silver spoon and what everybody talks about.
Okay,
Um,
let's jump ahead to a little closer to now, okay?
okay.
You've had some recent things happen in your life. We won't dig in deep on them, but some challenges that have affected your whole family. I'm gonna just lob it out there like that and let you introduce it if you want. If not, we'll just move on.
Yeah. And I know I just lost my.
With all due respect,
Yeah.
I'm asking,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
feel that it could be valuable to someone.
Well, he, my brother, basically, like a brother to me. Um, he passed away in a car crash.
Yeah,
It it's kind of rough when you
not too
lose.
long.
Not too long
Like
ago. Yeah.
like right now, from here back, how long ago did it happen?
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. So, guys, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be insensitive to Chris's family. I asked him. We talked off camera, and he
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, Sam, it's cool. And if at any point he wants to change the subject, we will."
Yeah.
But sometimes, and thank you for coming on the Feld podcast and sharing.
Yeah.
When we're in something, that's the time when we close off so much, and then we go off on our own little. That's when you can really lose your mind. In
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
words,
Yeah.
and so it's kind of like therapeutic to share and to talk about it. And so thank you for at least having a little conversation about it. So so your brother passed away. How has that challenge kind of either made you see stuff in new lights or made you readjust? What has it caused you to
Uh,
change or do?
Definitely readjust because it affected my family, pretty severely.
Yeah.
Especially with him being married and just had his baby who's only a month old now.
Oh man.
Um, it's
It's
it
hard.
sucks, man.
Oh yeah.
It really does. Um, I know a lot of people lose, loved ones, and
Yeah.
I want to say it gets easier with time. A lot of people, it gets easier with time. Don't forget them, but I honestly was listening to another podcast. I don't know the name of the dude, but he was talking about loss as well,
Mm,
and he was saying he asked the question, "Who are you crying for?"
got it.
He said, "Because they don't know you're crying. The people who died, they
Oh,
don't know
that's
you're
true.
crying.
That's true.
So who are you crying for? The people around you. Do they want you to cry for them? I don't think so. So basically, when you cry for somebody who you lost, you're basically crying for yourself.
Hmm.
Because you lost a piece of you. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
and I took that to heart, and I did, and I understand like it. I'm not telling anybody they can't cry because they lost someone, but whenever you do lose someone, don't get lost in the crying and the
Mm.
almost depression because
Yeah, yeah.
it
You
gets
always run
pretty.
the risk
Yeah, you
of
run the
going into a
risk.
dark place.
Yeah, and if you get lost in there, sometimes people don't come back. Some people get lost in their thoughts, and some people get lost in like, man, am I next? And it's like,
Yeah.
you still got to live your life. You still, and even if they're gone, it's not to say that their energy isn't still here.
Yeah.
And they want you to be happy.
Yeah.
If they were alive today, would they like you crying right next to them? No, I
Mm.
don't think so. Well, my brother wouldn't.
Yeah.
He would do anything in his power to make me happy.
Yeah.
So I had my time to cry, but I came out of it and I was like, he would want me to, live my life. He would want me to keep going. He would want me to be happy. He would want me to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, I look at my relationships now a little differently because everybody knows, life isn't promised tomorrow.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. So I take things like this interview. I'm in the moment. I
Got
love
it.
I love who I'm around. You're one of my closest friends. I have other close friends, and I call them up. When I lost my brother, it's like, hey man, I haven't talked to you in a long time. I just want to check on you.
Yeah.
And I tell my buddies, hey man, I love you. And hang up. But a lot of men don't say that. A lot of men, I'm a man. I'm not gonna tell. Tell the dude I love him.
But guys are too tough.
Yeah.
And they don't want to, like, they're down to get into depression.
Yeah.
But they're not down to kind of cry and open up and share with someone. And it's like they both have side effects, man. I might as well lean on the one that draws you to people and recovery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And into like now, I put a lot of my focus into growing a business and trying to build a business with people who want to talk about positivity, not negativity. I a lot of people who call me and try to talk about like, oh, what's the name doing this now or whatever. Like, man, it's like good for them, or why are you talking about like their failures right now? They're trying to figure it out like we are. Everybody's trying to figure this life thing out.
Yeah.
And it's not easy for everybody, but honestly, and I love where I'm at now. I can get better every day, and my challenge for myself every day is to be better than who I was yesterday.
Love it.
And a lot of that comes from challenges.
I'm not checking my Instagram. I had some questions that I was going to ask him, and I can't find them. So anyways. Okay. So let me, you're married, you have some kids, you got a home, you're doing good. You have some amazing business prospects in the making. I'm rooting for Chris, man. Tell me, to finish up, I'd like to ask a few questions. One is, when you hear the word failure, how do you define it, or what does it make you think?
Failure to me is opportunity. If you look at a situation and you go, "Oh, I failed," then you didn't learn. Whenever somebody says failure, you need to hear it as, I say it like this. Whenever you hear somebody say, "Oh, somebody's failing," you're like, "No, they're being challenged," or no, that's their opportunity. Because a lot of people who invented a lot of the things that we use today, they were actually trying to get to another point. Like the person who invented tape, the person who invented glue, they were actually trying to invent something else, and they failed, but they actually had they made an opportunity out of failure.
Absolutely. And you can look at a few episodes right underneath this one, and I literally touch on like sticky notes on the Slinky to prove that concept. So, okay, continue. Failure.
But like I said, I don't look at failure as being like an end-all be-all. Failure basically is a way of saying like, hey, it didn't work this way, but we can have another avenue, So like my father-in-law always says, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So but
don't go figure that out.
No, not like that.
I'm joking. I wonder where that saying came from.
I don't know.
There's more ways.
He's old, so
there's more than one way to butcher a cow.
No okay,
that one's a little, FIFA or what? The soccer? No. What's the animal thing? PETA, not FIFA. Come after us. We love cats.
We love cats.
And soccer. Sorry, it's not meant to.
But like I said, failure is always opportunity, just presented in a different way. You have to look at it every day as an opportunity to be better or to do more. If you woke up, that's an opportunity.
Give it a go again.
Give it a go. And to me, just keep going, man. It's not one foot in front of the other, because you can't get anywhere if you don't. Doubt kills more opportunity than
the fail.
Failure.
Because you don't even try.
You don't even try.
Tell me, someone's failing right now. Like, they literally failed yesterday. They either lost a bunch of money, they lost something, whatever. How do you deal
Plan B
with failure? in the moment when it's at its worst, what's some advice that you can give someone? And I asked that because your brother just passed away about 3 weeks ago, so it's very fresh. What's something that's worked for you during that challenge that I know can help someone if they're in a literally fresh in a challenge right now?
Um, if you're going through a challenge right now, um, first before anything else, pray. Ask God, to guide your mind, your heart, your spirit, and look for the positive. And I know, like the challenges and the opportunities are there presently. Just like my when my brother passed, um, and it's hard. It's like when it happens, because it's like the whole world kind of just closed. Like
Got a
and
little smaller.
yeah, and it to me, you know, it's like the sun went out. Like it's just no more life. And it sucks at that point. As time goes on, and you'll see, if you woke up the next day and you are continuing to live, man, like make it a good day. Choose positivity. Choose to help someone. That person may, be looking to, like, make a business partner. You may,
Yeah.
have an opportunity when you meet that person, when you go to a coffee shop, and the person behind the counter is having a bad day, and they slide your cup to you the wrong way. You look up at them and you go, your first reaction is, hey man, why you do,
Yeah.
don't think about it first. Think before you act. Think before you speak.
Yeah. When you're in it.
When you're in it, and that person is having a bad day. You're like, hey man, like, I hope your day turns better. It
Yeah.
gets better. I'm sorry if whatever you're going through, and it may make them go, I could have handled that differently.
True.
That dude is a good dude. I slid his cup to him. They almost wasted. Almost got all his
Yeah.
suit. You know, um, like I said, man, I chose positivity. I chose life. I chose to live. I chose to take the day, carpe diem.
Yeah.
Seize the day. And talking to my wife a lot, and she is a very positive person. I got a book recently. It's like quotes for the day, basically like
Yeah. Yeah.
inspirational thoughts. I read that a lot because, like I said, man, when you're going through challenges, a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't care. You
Yeah.
know, but it takes one or two actually to go to care.
Yeah.
Just walking
Change
by
everything.
somebody and you see them, like, with their head down, and it's like, man, maybe they're having a rough day. Pat them
Yeah.
on the back. Just say, hey man, keep going. You got it. Keep going. Yeah, that little positive energy could kick off,
Yeah.
a whole set of events, and change your life. You know.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, thank you so much, man, for coming on the Failed Podcast and
No
sharing
problem. No problem.
sharing a little about your life and what you're going through, what you went through, and what you're going through now.
I hope this helps, man. I
Yeah,
hope it
man,
helps.
and I hope y'all enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hope you do.
And thank y'all for tuning in. And I hope that you learned something. And you know what I always say, man. I don't know how the sound is or the video is. It's the first time I do it in this format.
Yeah.
But no matter if you're like, man, Sam, you suck. I never quit. And I'll be back. So I'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.